Andrews, and I'm incarcerated in McDougal Department of Corrections in Suffield, Connecticut, and I'm incarcerated for felony murder and attempted robbery. I'm 54 years old. I had a birthday August 8th. I was born in 1968 to a mother and father, and I had a sister and then an older sister. My father was a extremely abusive alcoholic for my entire life, and at an early age, I learned to associate the smell of alcohol with pain upcoming, impending abuse. Needless to say, I'm not a heavy drinker. I'm not really a drinker at all. I started running away at a very young age, 10 years old. And as of 11, I really never lived in anyone's home except the streets. And I found drugs and addiction probably around 12, 13 years old. I had, I guess you could say, an addictive personality, so anything I touched that I found solace in and a way to escape mentally in, I went full out on. I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder and bipolar disease and schizoaffectoid, which I never knew as a child. These are all big words. I didn't get diagnosed till maybe my third or fourth time in prison. I also suffer from extreme auditory hallucinations where I hear voices that tell me to run away and get away and get out. And as a child, I really didn't understand or didn't know that they were coming from inside my own head. Not really a violent person. Never really have been. I pretty much always look for acceptance in others and things around me. And I found that in the drug world. I been in and out of prison my entire adult life. And you know you're looking for me, Jose, to speak about this crime. Due to the fact that they want to kill the crawl space. But I can't really speak about a crime that I didn't commit. But I am accused of, and was accused of, and was convicted of felony murder. Due to the fact that there was a crime that took place in a place where I was within a 36-hour period of time, a 24-hour period of time. And I can't say that I know anything about it. All I do know is the same thing that everybody else is doing was what they heard. And there was, I guess, a party taking place where it was drugs being used, and drugs being done, and drugs being bought, and drugs being sold. And the next day there was cleared, there was a body found there. And I was one of the people that was said to have been seen on the premises the day before. And due to my past institutional history and due to the surroundings of my life, there was really nothing I could say barring witnesses that I didn't do it, or that I wasn't there. If I had no way to corroborate that, here we are. Sentenced 35 years. They have served 14 of them so far. I'm open to any questions pertaining anything of my life, or I've volunteered pretty much all I could.
I know when we talked.
I'm open to all of them.
Yeah, when we talked earlier on the phone, you mentioned about the like the DNA evidence that was found at that place, that none of that matched anything of you.
Yes, no. There was no DNA. I was a crack smoker at the time, and there were several crack pipes found on the scene. Not any one of them had my saliva-based DNA. There was liquor bottles found on the scene. None of them had my DNA. There was urine found in all the corners of the premises, which none of it traced back to me. There was it was a basement, by the way. There was I have a crime scene investigator's statement that this crime was supposed to have taken place after 12 midnight. There was no windows in the basement and no working light. In order for them to process the crime scene at approximately 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the day that they found the victims, they had to bring in floodlights to process the crime scene. So there's no possible way anybody, third party or fourth party or fifth party, could have seen anything moving in the basement, let alone said who they seen there. It's impossible. There's no working lights, no windows, no DNA, which is pertaining to me, which they had DNA on 2 other people, but not DNA on me. They had cigarette butts with saliva-based DNA on 2 other people, or several other people, but none of them were me. No witness had seen the crime itself take place that could say I did it, but yet I was convicted. The jury of my peers found me innocent of first-degree murder, but I was charged with first-degree murder, felony murder, and attempted robbery. Attempted robbery is the smallest possible felony that can be used to lock in the crime of felony murder. Felony murder is not a charge that stands on its own. It is a charge that is created when a felony is committed in the commission of a murder, which means 2 charges create the 3rd charge of felony murder. So without one or the other, without the attempted robbery or without the murder, there is no charge of felony murder, which I was found innocent of first-degree murder by the jury. So, in layman's terms, my only charge is attempted robbery, and I've already served 14 years, and I have 21 years left on my incarceration.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know, like, so when we were talking earlier about it, like, are you able to get like out on good behavior, like, or like shorter sentence, like if you do like
an appeal?
I'm in the process. I was denied appeal. I'm in the process of what's called a commutation, where it doesn't have anything to do with my charge. It only has to do with my institutional history, and which is for these 14 years, I've only received 3 institutional tickets or DR disciplinary reports in 14 years. I've gotten numerous certificates from all programs available. I've gotten a good work report every 30 to 60 days of my incarceration since the beginning. I've worked nonstop, which I'm still working at this as we speak. I'm a tierman as of right now, but I'm a professional barber, and that's what I do even when I'm in the world. You might say, you might call it an exemplary inmate. I'm doing the best that I can to prepare myself for any available opportunities. You know what I'm saying? That early release can be afforded through to help me with the early release. But Connecticut is a hard state or a hard line on. They don't like to. One judge doesn't like to go against another judge. So I'm doing all I can right now to raise funds to acquire an attorney. I can be represented. Everything I'm doing now is on my own. You know what I'm saying? I did all the paperwork myself, studying in the law library towards the computation. And I'm trying to garner funds to apply for a sentence modification or a habeas, whereas I would get myself back into court and gain a new trial. You know what I'm saying? In order to gain release that way, due to all the inconsistencies in my case. But it's hard. It's hard on my own. I have yes.
Sorry for my voice. My sinuses are kind of crazy right now, but I just want to make sure I had you correct on that. So the jury found you innocent, and the judge just ruled over that anyway and convicted you?
No. When you go to trial for a crime, all the crimes that you're charged with have to be seen through to fruition, which means I was charged with murder, first-degree murder, felony murder, and attempted robbery. The attempted robbery and the first-degree murder are the only actual crimes. Felony murder is a charge, an enhancement of the 2 charges that come together, and the enhancement is felony murder. So even though I was found innocent of the first-degree murder by the jury, I can still be found guilty of the felony murder due to the charge of attempted robbery, because that's what I was charged with when the trial began.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If I would have been found innocent of attempted robbery as well as first-degree murder, then I would have been automatically found innocent of the felony murder, because there would have been no charge.
All
right.
What is it?
Allow me to back up a little bit.
Okay.
At the time of my arrest, and for the 2 years and like 9 months leading to my trial, I was repeatedly questioned and asked to turn state's evidence against my co-defendant, to cooperate and become a state's witness for my co-defendant. And I could not do so and would not do so because I had no knowledge of the crime. Waterbury, Connecticut had one of the best prosecutors in the state of Connecticut. His name was Damiani at the time of my arrest, where the state of Connecticut Supreme Court would appoint a prosecutor to handle certain cases. He was one of the best and most accomplished and had the highest conviction rate in the state of Connecticut at the time, and would not take my case. He would not prosecute my case due to the fact that he knew he could not win it. And they gave it to to the prosecutor Mariani, which had history with me, and that is why I was charged. I was only charged with felony murder. I mean, with first degree murder to begin with. He added the charge of attempted robbery, knowing full well that those two charges together created a third charge of felony murder, which I could not beat, regardless of if I was found innocent of either one of the other charges. Because attempted robbery is almost impossible to beat, because it is I don't know the word you would use, but it is up to the person that it's how they feel a crime took place, and there was no witnesses to say that nobody attempted to rob them. The witness was dead, so the witness couldn't say Mr. Andrews didn't take part in this. Once you're charged with that, it's almost impossible to beat it because it's such a simple charge. And that's what he did to me in order to go around the double jeopardy rule, where you can't be tried for the same crime twice. So he used attempted robbery in order to charge me for one murder 2 times, and which he did. He charged me with felony murder and murder. So even though I was found innocent by the jury of my peers of murder, innocent, I was still found guilty of felony murder.
That is crazy.
I was offered 45 years as a plea deal. I lost trial for felony murder and was only given 35 years. Where does that happen at? Where do they offer you less? Where do they offer you more, and when you lose trial, give you less? It's unheard of. You usually have an offer of minimal time, of a 5-year offer. When a charge can carry 20 years, they usually offer you 5, 10, maybe 15 years, if at most, before you're found guilty. Then when you're found guilty, you receive the maximum, which would be 20. Maximum in my case would have been over 80 years. And I was found guilty of it and received 35 years, less than my offer. Where do they do that at?
That is some shady shit.
Yeah, that's definitely shady.
You do that when you're railroaded.
Wow.
Yes, and it's online. My name is Lawrence Richard Andrews. My inmate number is 166995. I was beaten in the police department and forced to sign a somewhat of a confession that says I was there. That said I was there, not that I committed, not that I did it, had any physical activity, had any physical contributed in any way, shape, or form physically to the crime, but that I was there and I sold these people some drugs and that I left. And at the same place they found the body the next day is where I sold them drugs the day before. And that's what gave me 35 years for a crime I didn't commit. And I have. Do you mind if I mention my GoFundMe, my name?
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and mention it, that's fine.
Okay. It's called No. The headline is No DNA Evidence, and it can be found. It's a picture of my sister and myself, which is my sister, which I'm 1 year old, and my sister is 3. She's sitting behind me. We're sitting down, and she's sitting behind me with her arms around me, and we both have the same outfit on. And it says no DNA evidence, and she speaks on everything that I just mentioned in this podcast. She speaks on the facts that they have no evidence whatsoever that could link this crime to me in any way, shape, or form. But we can't afford a lawyer to help me fight. So we're looking to get $20,000. You know what I'm saying? $5 at a time, $1 at a time. If anybody could help me, I would greatly appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? In order to garner my freedom. Now, like I said, I'm open to any questions you want to ask. My life's an open book. I have no problem answering anything.
What did the other? Well, there was two other gentlemen, right?
Yeah, both their DNA was. I guess it was a party all going wrong, where they were drunk, getting high, and partying with this woman, and one guy, like I said, their DNA was all over her, and semen-based DNA was all over her. I was not charged in any way, shape, or form with any type of sexual assault, any type of assault, sexual activity, no sexual misconduct, no nothing. Just attempted robbery, felony murder, and first-degree murder, which is strange charges for when two other people were charged supposedly at the same crime I was at. They were charged with sexual assault and convicted of it, and one received 60 and one received 15, which is strange. One guy copped out to 15 years for a sexual assault, and another guy didn't cop out, but was found guilty and received 60 years for murder, sexual assault, and robbery. Where was I at when all this took place?
Yeah,
how were our charges so different? How were three people that were supposedly at the same crime that all had three different sets of charges?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, what was their sentences for? Like, so one got 15 and the other one got 60.
One got 15, one got 35, and one got 60.
Okay, so that's 15, 35 to 60. Yeah, that's completely all for the possible same crime.
All at the same crime.
And they had evidence against them.
And they both had DNA evidence on them, and I had no DNA evidence whatsoever on me. Nothing.
So how did that just don't make sense of like how the one guy got 15 then with having DNA evidence against him?
He copped out the first-degree sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the first-degree sexual assault when there's a murder that took place.
Yeah.
With the same victim that was sexually assaulted. And that person never testified against neither I nor the other co-defendant. So it ain't like he made a deal to testify against the other two. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In exchange for his testimony, did he get a deal? No. How did they do that? Where did that happen at?
Do they have like private testimonies where they could do it like in chambers?
No, you cannot. No,
okay.
You cannot. Not in a trial of this magnitude, no.
Okay.
Because in any state in the United States, and that's in our Constitution, any victim, any defendant has the right to face their accuser. So if the person cops out, then the accuser doesn't have to take the stand. But anybody that makes a statement in any charge, in any crime, the defendant has the right to face their accuser. So if you're saying, meaning, if I say number A, the letter A did such and such to B, if A goes to trial, I have to sit on the stand and point out A and say A did such and such to B, because he has to have his day in court and be able to defend himself against me through a cross-examination. Now, if A cops out before trial, then I don't have to. He doesn't get to face me because he's admitting his guilt. But since he didn't do it, he has to be able to defend himself against me.
Okay.
So you have to take the stand. So, like I said, there was only one witness in my whole trial, just one.
And you said the prosecutor had history with you, so that was the other times that you had went to prison.
We have history in arguments in such and such in courtrooms, and and words with one another over past years, because I've come in Waterbury in and out of the court system my whole entire life, and he was a prosecutor in the Waterbury court.
So you think he did this on purpose because he didn't like you?
He had to. He definitely did it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Now, whether he had any animosity towards me or not, I've never been one to accuse anybody of anything that I don't know for sure.
Right.
So whether he had any animosity towards me or not, or held any grudges against me or not, I can't say that I'm not going to slander that man. But what I can say is this, is that he charged me with attempted robbery, which is the smallest felony possible in order to garner a charge of felony murder to go along with first degree murder. Because it was strictly a murder case. It was just a murder charge. It was just a murder case and a sexual assault. Period. He added attempted robbery by the statement that they say I signed when they said that they were robbing the person for the drugs that I sold them. If I sold somebody $100 worth of narcotics, right? And there were two other people present, and they jumped on this one person to steal back $100 worth of drugs. I already had the $100 cash. Why do I want to share or scramble to get these $100 worth of narcotics from this one person to share with two other people and involve myself in a whole other charge if I already had $100 that I sold it to them for? What sense does that make?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that don't make sense at all.
Right. If I already sold it to you, which means I already had the $100 that I sold it to you for, I could just leave and go get me, and so evidently I must have had more. If I sold $100 worth, evidently I must have had some more. And even if I didn't have any more, I had $100 to go buy some more. So why not to get involved in that mess?
Yeah, it looked like he was just like kind of stretching and reaching for something to pin on you.
And my mother passed away May 12th, 1998. This crime took place in 1999. I was given $100,000 insurance when my mother passed away. So I had access to $100,000. So what the heck do I need to rob anybody for $100 worth of drugs for? And it's all in the newspapers. The evidentiary surrounding that I had a $100,000 insurance policy.
You have 1 minute left.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Yeah, it don't make sense at all.
No, it doesn't. But that's Waterbury, Connecticut for you.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
People incarcerated in Waterbury, Connecticut for possession with no firearm as evidence. Just because one person says, "I seen him with a black gun in his hand," and is willing to go to trial or come to court and say that they've seen a black gun. There's people incarcerated right now around me that are incarcerated for possession of a firearm with no firearm in evidence.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's Waterbury. That's Waterbury, Connecticut.
That's fucked.
Yes, that is.
Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. Listen, the phone's gonna shut off any minute now.
Okay.
I don't know if this podcast is complete. If the podcast is complete or not, or.
Yeah, that was the end of our conversation with Lawrence Andrews. I'm not sure if he's. I don't think it's actually, but I thought he got his point across in this episode. I'll have to email him.
Yeah.
That's really.
That's crazy.
So there's people around him that he knows.
So he had one bitch ass supposed witness to something, and this fucking prosecutor guy didn't like him anyway, like had history with whatever, and that got that pinned on him. That's insane. That's insane.
And
I respect him too, because he was like, oh, I don't know if he had any, ill will towards me, but like that's respectable. He's like, I'm not gonna slander that man. I'll do it for you.
Maybe they would call back. Okay.
Hello? I didn't know if we were complete or not. So
oh yeah, we weren't sure because I know you guys have like a 9:45 limit or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well we got till 10 o'clock. We got till 10 o'clock. The phones go off.
Okay, that works. Yeah, like that's what we were kind of talking about when the phone cut off. Like that's just crazy. Like you said, with people that having gun charges with no evidence of a gun.
And by the way, this is a strangulation murder.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like somebody was shot, somebody was stabbed. Strangulation is a one-on-one crime. they found this, like I said, they found these two people's DNA all over the victim. What did I do? Wait till they were finished, and then do that?
Oh yeah.
Or did I attempt to rob them, then back up and stand against and go stand on in the corner and wait for a little while, and then come back? Or I mean, what? How did this chain of events? The chain of events has to be unbroken in order for someone to be charged with a set of crimes.
Yeah.
There's no possible way that this chain of events was not broken if there was an attempted robbery, a sexual assault, then a murder. Because it's not a necrophilia crime. Necrophilia means that the sexual assault took place when the victim was already dead.
Yeah.
That's the only way I should have been charged with everything. And I was never charged with anything else from day one. From the newspaper clipping, from my arrest, it says in my arrest that the medical examiner find traces of spermicide DNA, sperm-based DNA on the victim. And it says my last name says Andrews. It says my co-defendants, it says both of them by name, and then it says Andrews is not charged with that offense from day one. How?
A quick question.
And all this can be verified by looking at this crime up online. All of it.
Yeah, the prosecutor, did he try to do like any of this before with you and the other times you dealt with him?
No, we just had difference of opinions in the courthouse, and like prior to this this bout of incarceration here, I didn't take any snap or crap from nobody. So if I either said something I didn't like, or if there was a situation I didn't like, I had no problem verbally addressing it. You know what I'm saying, with the vulgarities and all that. So we had back and forth on that level. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I never had him on a crime of this magnitude ever. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't have that type of a risk. It was just I wasn't hearing none of his nonsense or allowing him to just say anything or do anything to me in any way, shape, or form. And I guess that's where we butted heads. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And, he decided on a couple of my friends of mine cases, and I told him what I felt about him and how I thought he was, and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he never tried to like fuck you over with some petty shit, just tacking stuff on.
That sounds like that was
you
the one
take my life over some petty shit. You take my life over misunderstanding from past history. But with an attorney that doesn't work for the state, I have a great chance of getting back into court and overturning this case and beating him. But like I said, it takes an attorney to do that. Because public defenders in most states, but I definitely know about the state of Connecticut and the city of Waterbury, they won't even put up a third of the fight that it takes to overturn a case on one of their prosecutors or one of their judges. They just won't do it because it ruins any opportunity that they may have for advancement in the future, and they're not doing that for a quote unquote convicted criminal.
So if you were to win and like get it situated, would they get in trouble, like everybody involved in the case, or would it just be dropped?
I didn't hear you. It was breaking up.
Oh, sorry. If you did get it situated and like overturned, with the people involved, like the judge and the attorneys and stuff, would they get in trouble for like convicting you?
I will sue the state. I will sue the state of Connecticut for wrongful incarceration. Yes, I will.
Got you.
Yeah, definitely.
And that would be what, so much per year you served?
Three friends of mine served 17 years for a wrongful incarceration, and they sued the state for their checks were $4.8 million a piece. At the end of their dismissal for wrongful incarceration, and they committed the crime, but the judge made a backroom deal with a witness to their crime and didn't divulge that information to the defense attorney. That's how they beat that case. They did it. They did it, but they made a backroom deal and didn't divulge that information to the defense attorney, and that's what's called exculpatory evidence, which is a Brady violation. Because all evidence that the prosecution has and every which way that they use to obtain it is supposed to be divulged to the defense attorney, so they can properly defend their client. And they didn't do that, and they found that out 17 years later. And they used that, and they, like I said, they committed the crime, but they got it overturned because it's exculpatory evidence, and they beat the crime, and it's against the law. You can't do that. Everything that the prosecution knows, the defense has to know. All the evidence that the prosecution has, the defense has to have. All the evidence that the defense has to have is don't blush. All the evidence that the defense has, the prosecution has to have in order to properly prepare a case. You know what I'm saying, for trial date. And they didn't do that. And Connecticut does that quite often. It's just you have to stick and stay and fight and dig to find these things. And once you find these things, Connecticut has one of the highest conviction rates in the United States, but it also has one of the highest ratios of cases being overturned in the United States also.
Because they're dirty.
Because of this the way that their judicial system plays in the area of Connecticut is shady. It's because a lot of people don't fight their case to the end. I will fight. My discharge date is March 6th, 2044. I will fight until March 5th, 2044 at 11:59 p.m. to prove my innocence. I ain't never giving up.
Yeah, don't blame you.
Do it. I'm not giving up. I've been in and out of the system too much. I'm already here. Why would I lay around and just play cards? When I can go to the law library, I can read books, I can read other cases, I can see things that they've done that match up to what they've done to me, and it's called case law. And I can use that case law to fight my case.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll continue to file motions, and I'll continue to you know what I'm saying, to attempt to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? By myself. But that's why I said, that's why this GoFundMe is so important to me and my family. Because with a paid attorney, they have investigators and paralegals to do all the searching that I have to do on my own. And they can get it. And this every attorney, everybody that I've spoken to, every attorney that I've spoken to, every public defender that I've spoken to says the same thing that you said. When you started hearing the culminations of all these evidence, of all these misjustices and strange goings-ons with this case, said the same thing. Oh my God, I can't believe that. Oh God, I can't believe that. Well, if you can't believe that, help me. But they won't do that. But they won't do that either.
Why do they give a reason why they won't?
Because, like I said, public defenders do not want to go against prosecutors nor judges that they work with and under. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And risk their crime, you know what I'm saying, in the future. To go from public defender to their own practice, or from public defender to prosecutor, from prosecutor to judge. They don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to take them chances. They don't and fail.
So instead of doing,
you got you fought me, you lost. Now I'm not giving you no deals. I'm not making any arrangements which I'm not helping you. I'm not doing nothing for you now. And they don't want to risk that. But yet if they win, or should I say when they win my wrongful incarceration case, that helps them as far as garnering towards private practice and garnering clients in the future that find out that they've helped someone that was wrongfully incarcerated and they brought them through it. And you know what I'm saying, have 1 minute left. Okay, and they got them freed. Now they give you defense. That will get them a lot of clients. But they don't want to look at it that way.
Yeah, like you said, they don't want to take that risk.
And your wife, I appreciate this. Thank you very much for giving me this platform. You said to speak my mind and just let my truth be told. And in the future, just like text me. We can go back and forth if you need anything from me, or if you can help me, or if I can help you in any way, shape, or form.
Okay,
Text me, man. I like to stay in touch.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, and have a good night.
All right, you too. Okay, so yeah, we didn't know if he'd be able to call back. I thought their phone shut off at 9:45, but it kind of like the whole public defender thing. Like he said, that's the reason why they don't want to risk it. But like,
they would be a fucking legend if they won.
Well, like what he said,
which I feel like there's a good chance that somebody could win. You got to find somebody ballsy enough to stick their neck out, though.
Like he said, they don't want to do it to people they work with because they can't get to them. But if they win, which he said, with his case,
which I totally understand, but like with being pussy and fucking stand up for what's right, like you got to stick your neck out for what's right, because right is right and wrong is wrong. And just because you want to keep your career and all this shit, like you got into the wrong career if you're not doing it for the right reasons. Like fuck off.
Yeah.
Sorry, but this has me like amped. Like this pisses me off. I hate dirty shit like that.
Yeah, he had called me earlier tonight, and we kind of went over what he was wanting to go over and stuff. And like his case is interesting. 'Cause, like I read the articles and stuff that he had mentioned. I think there's a case file, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And it's interesting because, like I said, that even that article, which they tried to play it off like he was a part of it, but like I said, the way he said is that the only person took off, and they don't know exactly
if they
what.
have DNA from 2 other people and not him, like if he was a part of it, you would think like there'd be something there of him, hair, some kind of DNA.
That's
anything.
crazy though. 15, 35, and 60. That's a big gap between all of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting case. Very interesting story.
Look it up.
Because I kind of wonder, like we were talking about, his childhood with all the mental disorders and stuff.
Yeah, being on your own since 11, dude. Like I know a lot of people go through it, and then like it is a very big thing, but like, wow.
Mm-hmm. And then being
on
the street, living wherever you could at a young age.
And you have to like go in survival mode and like putting your brain in survival mode at that age where you're not fully developed yet, and putting your brain in that state of trauma all the time to like just survive, literally survive.
Mm-hmm.
That's awful.
Which it's weird. I know he said he's 54. He don't sound like he's, you know what I mean?
He's 54?
Yeah, he's born in 68. He just turned 54.
So nothing wrong with that. I just didn't know that.
Yeah, 54. Like you don't sound like you know what I mean? Like you don't sound.
And he already served 14.
So he wouldn't get out until he said
2045.
Yeah, 2045. So 23 more years. That would put him over 77? 7 years old.
That's rough. I hope he gets out. I'm rooting for this dude. I hope he's not lying.
That's a long time.
I'm very distrustful of stuff, but from what I know of it right now, from what he says.
Well, like he said, you can find
I hope he gets out.
can find it all.
I hope he gets out.
So if there's, like I said, I've read the information online. Things I know you always have the inmates, say, I'm, innocent, but there is a lot of.
I don't mean to say this in like a vulgar way or anything, but I feel like I can say it because I've been there. But like, I feel like they're probably just trying to pin it because he was a drug dealer and like just like, oh, let's just put it on this crackhead. It's all right.
Yeah, I guess you.
I hate that.
Like what he said, he was at that place selling drugs, but
like he may have been doing a bad thing, but shit happens.
It does sound
he didn't kill nobody.
It does sound like the prosecutor. It seems like when they butted heads, prosecutor was out to get him, and he was somewhat tied into this by just being in that building area. And then the prosecutor's like, well, this is my way of getting him back for butting heads with me before. So that seems like what it pinpointed down to, from my understanding. Is that what you gathered from it?
Yeah.
that was the past history, is him butting heads and telling like it was, and probably upset that guy.
Nobody likes anybody that opens their mouth and gives an honest opinion. Everybody hates those type of people, and it's bullshit because those are the best type of people that are going to be honest and not take any shit from you just because of your position. Like, yeah, he was in a position to fuck him over, and he was still like, you know what, I'm going to say what I need to say to this guy anyway because I'm going to speak my truth. And that guy ends up fucking him over. Like
later on,
you got tiny weeny energy, buddy. You need to not be a prosecutor if you're going to be like that.
You see it a lot though, because like he said, a lot of cases that end up being, wrongly convicted of and stuff that a lot of prosecutors will not.
And he said Connecticut has like the highest conviction rate, but also the highest over. That should fucking tell you something. They are some dirty motherfuckers.
And it happens in a lot of states. People don't
Oh,
realize
I know
that.
it does. There's dirty people everywhere, but I hate that shit. It gets me riled up. I can't stand dirty motherfuckers. Like that. Like you're literally ruining somebody's life, putting them down for some serious shit, putting them in prison.
And like what we've
just
talked,
because you're a bitch.
like what we've talked with other people though too. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing of like they're not rehabilitating anybody, so they're just putting them in and just hoping people forget about them. They're not looking, for their future. Which if he's in there until the time he gets out, he might not even be alive then.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of
years
people don't
old,
live that long.
77 years old in a prison.
I mean, I hope he does good vibes to him and all that. I hope you do live that long.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
I hope you're out well before then too.
That's what I'm saying though. With him being 54, he don't have that like. You know what I mean?
He seems like he's got a young spirit.
Yeah, that's why I mean. Like you could tell he's an older person, but he's still got that. I guess you could say that fight in him that he's not gave up on.
He's a little
him.
spicy.
Yeah, which is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's what's going to keep him going.
There's people I know, around my age, a little bit older, that's just like give up on life and just like, and you could tell that he's still out there trying to get what he can get. Which I will share the GoFundMe.
Yeah, share the GoFundMe. Even if you donate $1, like we should donate $1 or something. Whatever we can spare.
I found it on there, so I looked it up when he was talking about it.
Yeah, we'll share it. Maybe share it with a picture of him or something.
It is a picture where he said he was 1 year old and his sister's 3.
Well, I know that's on there, but I mean, like, we post a separate thing saying go share it of like what he looks like now or something, just for funsies.
All right, but I guess that's all we got for this.
Yeah.
I hope y'all enjoy it, and like he said, we'll keep in contact with him.
We'll give updates when stuff happens. If he gives permission, though, we ain't gonna share nothing without his permission.
Yeah, if he wants us to update people, like we might have him later on, or I can just update through his message. But we thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.